All right, let's get to the DEI portion of this, aka discrimination, racism, sexism. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys all being here on this channel. I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, and I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to view my content. Make sure you follow me on all these platforms you see listed over here and all these places like that. You can join me and support the channel financially, just $1 a month, by going up here to patreon.com right there. If you do, great. If you don't, great. One of the best things you guys can do for this channel is hit that like button. And not that you like me or the channel, but that you feel that my channel should be recommended to friends of yours or you, and also that this channel can be put out there in the YouTube algorithm. All right. So we're on another segment regarding Elon Musk and Don Lemon's interview. You guys all know I did a video earlier, and there may be some that might be watching this for the first time, so I got to give them a little bit of a recap. Don Lemon did an interview with Elon Musk, and shortly after that, he was fired, or he was terminated from the contract that he would have had with Elon Musk after the interview. Don Lemon gets up and runs to CNN and runs to The View, the witches over there, and he cries to them, making it seem like that Elon Musk only terminated the contract because Don Lemon put the heat on him, or Don Lemon had him so triggered that Elon Musk said the contract is over with. Elon Musk already responded in writing, stating that he got rid of Don Lemon with this particular show because Don Lemon is coming in with the CNN rhetoric. He just coming in being CNN. He wanted to know if Don Lemon had his own type of personality, or if there was any flavor to Don Lemon to shake things up and not be so structured like CNN had him, you know? So he terminated the contract with him. Don Lemon gets mad and runs crying to CNN and mommy's witches over there at The View. And he tried to put his part out there first with certain clips and all this and make it seem like Elon Musk was being triggered by him. But we get to see the entire video, which respect to Don Lemon for putting the entire interview on Twitter/X. If you would like to go over there and watch the whole interview, just go over to Twitter, type in Don Lemon's name, and you will see the interview over there. So without further ado, we're getting ready to get into the portion of this particular interview where Don Lemon is going to be bringing up DEI, all right? That stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. But we all know that that's just another shape or form of somebody being able to be racist, sexist, all in one. Yeah, plain and simple, it is. So without further ado, let's get into the diversity, equity, and inclusion portion of this. Here we go. Or not. Let me get this up to queue. Here we go.
Okay, so listen, let's talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. All right, that's been a target of yours lately on X. There was a repost of Ben Shapiro that you claim that DEI is killing people. Specifically, you point to medicine. You claim that DEI programs are putting people at risk. Do you really believe this to be true, and what evidence do you have to support it?
What I was referring to there was that if we lower the standards for doctors, such so that they, if the test for a doctor is lowered, then the probability of them making a mistake and killing someone is obviously going to be higher.
Wait, say that again. I'm not sure I understand what you said. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying.
Yes, if the standards for passing medical exams and becoming a doctor, or especially something like a surgeon, if the standards are lowered, then the probability that the surgeon will make a mistake is higher. They're making mistakes in their exam. They may make mistakes with people, and that may result in people dying.
What evidence do you have, though, that they're lowering the standards? There's no evidence of that.
I believe there is.
There's no evidence of that, Elon. What is the evidence?
I believe they have literally lowered the standards at Duke University, and that is what the article was referring to.
There's no evidence.
Saying they have not lowered the standards?
There's no evidence about lowering standards, and I think that there is.
I believe that is a false statement you're making.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think
the interesting thing is, when this is posted on the X platform, there will be a whole bunch of things that rebut what you said and what I said.
Right.
And so people can then make their own decision based on the replies and the rebuttals and the community notes.
Now, let me go ahead and say this. I would have to look that up myself, but I do know this. In medicine, we do have some standards there. Like, when I got into school and I thought like, hey, man, I'm getting in there. It wasn't explained to me, but I got in there and some of my first test that I took, major exam I took, I got a 90. I'm, okay, good. Wait a minute, how is that a B? Oh man! You didn't know, Ty, when you're in medical school and the testing and the grading is different. You know, a 94 to a 100 is an A 93 to like and lower, that's a B. Wait a minute, whoa, time out. I don't know if that still is right now, but I know when I was in school, that's what we had to do. And like you said, now I gotta say this as far as him saying like for surgeons and all that, no, I highly doubt that that's gonna be lowered. I mean, you talking about doing hands-on. We talking about doing things like hip replacement and knee replacement. There is no lowering of standards with that. I don't care who you are. That is very invasive. That is very involved. You start off on doing it on half cadaver torsos and everything like that. You have to go through a lot of physical training, a lot of just repetitive, doing the same thing over again, making sure that you're doing it right with precision, setting the hand on the table right, and everything. It's a lot of stuff that's involved in that, right? So you're not just going to be able to go in there with no standards lower and they just be like, okay, just go in there and do it. No, absolutely not. Now, if he's talking about taking like physical testing when it comes to exams or things of that sort, I haven't seen that or heard that yet in the different schools I go to and speak to. I haven't heard that yet, but I do know this. There is going to be some things questionable when it comes to being nursing. Okay? It is. Now, there's a program that, y'all have to type this in because I don't know it off the top of my head, that they can literally go and be a nurse within a year now. When at first it was a 2-year, and then some people go and get their bachelor's in nursing, some going to be their master's, some going to become a nurse anesthetist or a nurse practitioner. But I do know for a fact, because of the shortages in nurses, they are now lowering it to where you only have to go for a year. Now, there's a lot of things that come into play there because I did make a statement on one of my videos where I said fellow colleagues of mine, and particularly one of my mentors, I'm not going to say his name, but this doctor who is in his late 80s, who literally said he got his degree in school, and he followed a primary care physician around for 4 years, learning everything he possibly can. And then he took the test to become a doctor, the boards, and he became a doctor. So now, I honestly believe that going to school, going to school for 12 some odd years, some of the stuff, I'm just telling y'all, it is not necessary. I'm just telling you flat out, and other doctors and nurses, or whoever, depending on how far you went to school, will agree with me. There's some things that you just like, okay, how are some of these brilliant doctors? They did not go to school nearly as long as we do today. Not even close. And yet they came out being full-fledged doctors, anesthesiologists, phlebotomists, orthopedic surgeons, a lot of things. When it comes to doing hands-on things like surgeon, you are not going to get nothing lowered. You are dealing with a person live. So the thing that Elon Musk is talking about, I would have to see that and read that. As of right now, I can't agree or disagree with him or Don Lemon. It's because I haven't seen this stuff yet, which is what Elon Musk just got done saying. And I do agree with his point there. He said, I can say something, you can say something. It's going to take for people to go and look and make their own decision, see which one of us is right. All right, move on.
I think that's fair, but I do think that on this particular topic, I do think that you and Ben Shapiro are reaching in about this, because there was what Ben posted said that he gave instances of people who were deliberately harming people. Nowhere in the thread does Ben suggest at all, I should say, that anyone is being killed as a result of DEI. That's purely speculative. There's research on DEI in medicine, and there's no evidence that standards are being lowered, that DEI is affecting medicine. Actually, only 5% of doctors are black, and a small percent.
I think you'll find.
Yeah, that's true. 5% about black doctors are black, and especially when you come particularly going into the surgical field, then that narrows it down to about less than 2%. That I know this. When we're going through school, I know this.
And that when this is posted to the X platform, that people will reply to it with evidence.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see.
Okay. So, but that's my whole thing about moderation. Maybe you're wrong, but you'll put it out there. You don't know if it's right. Do you think that your responsibility to make sure something is right before you, the person who owns it, Elon Musk, who's a huge figure in the world, that you should know that it's true, that there are people at X who can get research for you before you put something out there?
But yet, if the people from X go and get this research, that's still the same exact thing. You still would be able to look at that and say, how do I know the people at Twitter did that? Let me give y'all an example. At YouTube, I posted several videos, and they gave all of us in medicine, all of the doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, physicians, they gave all of us this big old huge sheet when the COVID stuff started going around, right? They gave us all this info, and I highlighted, y'all see, I did my homework, right? You see all that, right? Did my homework on all of this, right? I literally read this to you, the American people, of what was given to us from the AMA and all these CDC, and YouTube literally gave me strikes for misinformation and disinformation, although it was coming from those sources. Somebody at YouTube, their moderators, said I put out misinformation and disinformation. And this is what we literally have to read off and tell our patients what they're going to be doing and what they're getting themselves in regarding the Fauci, ouchie, hokey pokey clot shot, right? So these moderators, these researchers, they can be wrong. So guess what? We sought counsel and went after them, and I had to show proof. Who in there has their medical degree at YouTube that's telling me I'm putting out misinformation or disinformation? I like to see this. Prove me wrong. This is what the science world is supposed to be about, but they didn't want you to trust the science. They want you to do what they told you to do and don't ask any questions. All of us know, especially if you go through the pharmacology, virology, genealogy, cytology of school, you know the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s, the fundamentals, the foundations of this. And I'm literally giving them this, and they're coming back telling me that I'm wrong. So that means all the stuff we did through schooling is just bull crap then. But the people at YouTube, Instagram, the people at Facebook, they knew better than what we did. It was amazing. So that's what I'm saying. So who are you to sit there and try to tell us that we're wrong? And if we are wrong, that's the whole premises of it. You will be able to go and find out. There was a time in medicine where if you sprained your ankle and you get what we call an acute inflammation, swelling, that's acute. There was a time that people would put their ankles in Epsom salt and warm water because it felt good. It gave you a sense of feeling good. And so since it felt good, it made you think that it was actually helping the injury. It wasn't. It was actually making the inflammation worse. So now we find out that if you get an acute injury, a swollen ankle, and it starts to swell, you put ice on it. Ice decreases inflammation. It causes swelling to go back into the system. It keeps it from swelling even further. And it gives you a numbing sensation to where you won't feel the pain as bad. Well, how did that happen? Somebody questioned it. In orthopedic surgery, there was a time where they did hip replacements a particular type of way. And when you got done getting a hip replacement or a knee replacement, you stayed in the bed for weeks before they allowed you to walk. Today, you come into the orthopedic surgery, you get a hip replacement, you are walking the same day. You are going up and down stairs the same day. It's always ever changing. That's the beauty of putting stuff out there, because somebody can go and see if it's right or if it's wrong, if they can modify it, if they can make it better. That's the beauty of all this. So I don't know what Don Lemon is talking about in this particular case right here. Like, shouldn't you have somebody do this? No, it's always going to be somebody that questions it. That's why I say no matter what somebody tells me, I want to know for myself. Ty, it's a beautiful day outside and the sky is blue. I'm going to walk outside and see if that's true. Because in my world, I don't know, dude, I'm seeing rain clouds. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, y'all, let's go on. Y'all get what I'm saying, though? If you do, hit that thumbs up button right now. Appreciate it.
Like that. That's not necessarily true. Even in other examples.
If I say something that is inaccurate, I'm immediately corrected on the platform. That's the advantage of a real-time system like X. So there will be immediately in the replies, people correcting me. There will be a community note that will correct me, which is attached to the actual post itself.
Do you think as many people read
Yes.
You think as many people read that as it reads your tweet?
Yes, in fact, and if there's a community note that happens later where somebody didn't see, but they replied to that, or interacted with that post, we will notify them that there is now a community note correcting that post.
Mm-hmm. Just so you...
Whereas if you consider the conventional media, that doesn't happen. Conventional media makes false statements all the time and nobody ever hears the correction.
Yes. Peacefully protesting. Don Lemon, you guys said that Trump supporters who were out there protesting, as sometimes y'all call them super spreaders. Y'all were pushing around saying those who were unvaccinated, this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. And y'all weren't able to get no pushback on that. Y'all sat there and seen people burning buildings down and everything, and y'all sat there and said it's peacefully protesting. Y'all sat there and watched BLM and Antifa them go around marching and protesting, yelling and screaming, everything like that, and nobody said nothing about them with the spread, did they? You see what I'm saying? So it's crazy. You hypocrite to that. Oh, I wish I could do this. That's why y'all wanted to have a manuscript on CNN with Don Lemon interviewing me, where Don Lemon asked me questions. Y'all wanted me to answer them according to the manuscript y'all gave me. Man, come on, man.
When I was in conventional media, I can only speak for myself. If I got something wrong, or if someone got something wrong on the platform that I was on, it was corrected and we made sure that it was corrected. Now, I can't speak for
Right, well,
anyone else.
I don't think that's a universal situation.
Okay. So I just want, just the research, so when you talk, do you believe that people are dying because medical standards, DEI is causing medical standards to be lowered? Do you actually believe people are dying because of that?
I believe that if we lower the standards for what it takes to become a doctor,
You're saying if we lower the standards,
Yes.
but do you believe people are dying because the standards are being lowered?
I don't
Or have
think
been
that is
lowered?
yet an issue, but it could become an issue.
Okay. But the actual evidence in history shows the exact opposite. If you look at how minorities were treated by the medical system,
Here we go with the black thing. Here we go with the black thing. Let me tell y'all something. In medicine, one of the biggest things, and everybody knows this, is malpractice. IJs, immediate injuries, things of that sort. It happens. Even with the best doctors, things can happen, folks. They do happen. They happen so extensively that which I disagree with what they did here. They put like, for example, if we get insured, they put a cap on how much we can be sued for, which I think is crazy because you're messing with somebody's lives. You know, I'm not going to say his name. We had an orthopedic. Nope, I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, back to the video.
most doctors now are white.
Most people in America are white. 12% of people in the population that are black. Take the percentage of how many are incarcerated in jail doing basic jobs and those that are doing doctors. What does that mean? I don't know where he's going. I apologize for nope, I'm not apologizing for interrupting. Y'all can fast forward. Go watch this clip in its entirety on your own.
And there are lots of mistakes in medicine. So you're saying that white doctors have bad medical care? I'm trying to understand your logic here when it comes to DEI because there's no actual evidence of what you're saying.
No, I said, so if the standards, like let's say, I think that particular thing was referring to surgeons. Let's say a surgeon is asked to, a surgeon in training is asked to do a series of operations under the supervision of a senior surgeon, and they get a bunch of those operations wrong. If that happens, and yet they are still approved to be a surgeon, the probability that someone will die, I think, at some point is high.
Okay.
That's true. That can be true. Highly unlikely though. Highly unlikely. When you're dealing with bodies, y'all, you're not getting off, y'all. You're not getting off. Even when we had to do cadavers, when you do cadavers, you have to treat that like it is a legit person. You just can't. All the person is dead. They ain't got to really worry about nothing. Nobody. No, absolutely not. Which this is not gonna happen. Now we did have a doctor. Ooh, nope. I'm just gonna talk about it in Panama City. Brilliant surgeon. Brilliant. I would be under this man any day of the week. This man did orthopedic surgery on people's lumbar area. I'm not trying to give too many details because if you here in Florida, y'all know, y'all already know. But he made a bad decision, got caught up with the mafia and stuff. It was wild. Anyway, that don't have nothing to do with it, but he was a brilliant back surgeon. Brilliant.
I understand that, but that's a hypothetical. That doesn't mean it's happening.
I didn't say it's happening.
You didn't say it was happening.
I said it will.
But
I said if we lower standards, people will die.
But why respond to something or put something out there that has not happened? Because I could say,
Because I don't want it to happen. I think we don't want to lower standards.
okay, if you look at the history of the medical industry, especially when it comes to Black Americans, it shows the exact opposite. If you look at the Tuskegee experiment and on, only 5% of doctors in America are Black. All of them are white. So are you saying that if the majority of doctors are white, are you saying that and there are still these inequities, right? And there's still mistakes. Are you blaming DEI for that?
No, I'm very basically saying that if we lower standards for what it takes to become a board-certified surgeon or an oncologist or something where the kind of disease we're talking about, if you make a mistake, causes someone to die, then more people will die than if we don't lower the standards. Therefore, we should not lower the standards.
But why do you think they're lowering the standards for minority doctors or women doctors or?
That's what that article suggested. Yes, at Duke University.
Okay. The evidence that I have shows that that's not true. So
Okay.
listen,
So read off the evidence. What evidence do you have that he's talking about from Duke University? So if Don Lemon has some evidence from other sources that's not related to the Duke University evidence, that's not what he's referring to. Now, if you show evidence, if Elon Musk is saying this is what I have from Duke University, and then Don Lemon said this is what I have from Duke University as well, go at that. But you can't take a study from Duke University and then you got studies from all these other colleges that suggest otherwise and say, boom. No, do it based off of what Duke did with their samples, with their hypotheses that they have on those, not what you got from everybody else. Because again, look what they did with the Fauci ouchie hokey pokey clot shot. I told you guys back in 2019, and yes, 2019, I have it on my channel, when this C19 was going to go around, I told you guys what the end result was going to be. I told you that once it hits a certain peak in influx, people going to get up, people will build immunity to it. And as the virus mutates, I told you that it gets weaker as it mutates. It's not like bacteria where it can be resistant to a strain. All of a sudden, it just mutates into being stronger. No, not virus. They get weaker. That's why right now they want you to treat it as a severe cold or a flu right now. But when I was saying it back then, I was being censored. I was being misinformation, disinformation, all the whole nine. That's what was happening. Anyway, rolling on. You guys enjoying this? If so, hit that like button.
and after the door blew off this mid-flight in this Alaskan Airlines flight, do you remember that? You responded to a post claiming that the average HBCU grad was less intelligent than the average airline pilot, and stated that it will take an airplane crashing and killing hundreds of people for them to change this crazy policy of D.I.E. I don't know if did you misspell it on purpose, which it should be D.E.I. Do you believe that women and minority pilots are inherently less intelligent and less skilled than white male pilots?
No, I'm just saying that we should not lower the standards for them.
Okay. But there's no evidence that standards are being lowered when it comes to the airline industry.
You've repeatedly said that there's no evidence that standards are being lowered, and watch the replies showing all the evidence that it is.
Replies, though, on social media or on Twitter are not necessarily fact and evidence.
No,
That's people's
they will
opinion.
cite all the
Don Lemon just said the replies on social media is not and does not mean that it's actually facts. But then yet he said to Elon Musk, why don't you have people at Twitter do the research so when you put it out there, it will be the truth? I would eat Don Lemon all day long. God. Y'all about to get me with that one. I'm not editing it out. I would eat him alive. Y'all know what I meant. Jesus Christ. Can't take that back. You can't even say nothing now. It's a wrap. Oh, God, Ty, why did you do that? I would completely verbally annihilate him all day long, man. Oh, my God. Y'all ain't going to let this one go. Moving on.
In the replies to this, you will see how often the information is cited showing that indeed there are significant cases where standards are lowered.
And I do hope that happens. I do hope that happens, and I look forward to it. And as you said, if you're wrong, then you're wrong, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
You are.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm glad we're having this conversation, debating. This is what we should be doing, debating the issue. So if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and then they'll be proven in the thing, and you as well. But I just want to tell you that pilot that you talked about, in fact, was a woman pilot, landed the plane safely, despite the major malfunction with the equipment. Boeing has taken responsibility for that incident, saying that it was caused by a faulty door panel. So I'm not sure what that had to do with lowering the standards for pilots when it was a faulty.
No, it's not lowering standards for pilots. It's the incentive structure. I believe at Boeing changed to include DEI as a fundamental executive incentive. In my view, it should be purely about passenger safety.
Okay, but do you understand how by saying just that standards are being lowered, that you're implying that they're being lowered because people are less skilled and less intelligent, and you're talking about people of color and or women?
Look, I'm saying we should not lower standards.
But you don't.
That's it.
Y'all, this is what he's trying to do. Don Lemon is trying to paint this picture like Elon Musk is racist and sexist. No matter what it is, standards should not be lowered. Period. That's all he's saying. He's not saying that black people are less intelligent. If you really look and read between the lines, he's actually saying it's an insult to think that black people are not capable of getting in there because of their skill, their knowledge, their wisdom, their trade. This is the trick that I'm telling you guys that they do on us all the time. That's not what Elon Musk is saying. Y'all have to see this for what it is. Why would you lower it at all? Why would you lower the standards? You're saying that I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not skilled enough to get it. Therefore, they have to lower it in order for me to get in there.
I think everyone can agree that you shouldn't lower standards.
Great.
But you're implying that they're lowering standards because of people of color or women, because someone is not a white male. You're saying that they're less skilled and less intelligent. That's what
No,
you're
I'm
saying.
not saying that. I'm simply saying that they are.
Then why would they be lowering the standards?
I don't know. Why are they lowering the standards?
Just so you know, 5% of pilots are female, 4% are black. So
Okay, so
you're talking about this widespread takeover of minorities and women when that's not actually true.
I'm not saying there's a
Standards
widespread takeover.
Well, you're saying that the standards are being lowered because of certain people. How do you
see, that's what I think that's what he's getting at. Don Lemon is making up lies now. He's trying to formulate a narrative and make it about a race thing when that's clearly not what it is.
don't believe in DEI, right? Do you not believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I think we should be treat people according to their skills and their integrity, and that's it.
Do you know that studies show?
Studies show.
Yeah, well, we can look them up. So your reaction to studies show, and I understand, right? Because I always like to point to an exact study, right?
Sure.
Something that is factual.
But he hasn't done one yet since his whole interview. When he said my research shows, or what I have right here, he didn't state no sources. I didn't hear him, did y'all? I didn't hear him state one source.
It's the same thing when you talk about, well, let's see what the replies are on Twitter or on X.
Yeah, so
I feel the same. I feel the same way about that. But this is what studies have shown, and people will reply and they'll say that companies with more diversity in their leadership teams have reported higher innovation rates than those with lower diversity or low diversity, and they're better companies and they make more money. This whole idea about DEI, if you go woke or whatever, you go broke, that's not necessarily true. People with diverse leadership teams and diverse workers make more money and more innovative.
Like I said, my view is that the only basis for promoting somebody should be their skills, talents, and their integrity, and that's it.
I want to ask you about, there's a federal government, EEOC, they are also currently involved in a lawsuit against Tesla that alleges that there's a history of widespread racial harassment against black Tesla employees, as well as a pattern of retaliation for speaking out. What do you say to that?
I don't believe that is true. I think we've got a very good, like if you walk around the Tesla Fremont plant, I think it's a very good atmosphere. In fact, I practically lived there for 3 years trying to make the production work.
Were you aware, if you lived there, were you aware of such behavior?
I never saw it.
So you're saying that this is not true, it's not
He said he didn't see
happening?
Well, I mean, there's over 20,000 people. So you say, like, if there's over 20,000 people in one building, well, is everyone going to behave perfectly? No. Did I see any situations that I thought were improper? I did not.
Let's talk about trans rights and the woke.
No, stay on that right there. Stay on that. Anyway, folks, he moving on to the trans right and woke minds. I don't know if I'm going to be hitting on that part. I know y'all probably like, dude, this is weighing us down a little bit, but I just wanted to put this out there and show you guys this part. Whoa. See that magic trick there? No, I wanted to show you guys this part in its entirety as we went over that. And as you can see, games are being played here. It's obvious that what Don Lemon is doing right there is exactly what he did on CNN. And if you notice, he cut Elon Musk off a lot while Elon Musk is trying to talk. He did. And I know that Elon Musk is brilliant and really smart when giving interviews and things like that. But what you notice right here is that Don Lemon was very strategic in doing what he did. When Elon Musk begins to answer a question, because you did. And then and Elon Musk never really got out what he was going to say. So there's like, what was the original question? What was the original thought process? We don't know now because Don Lemon threw so many different things in there. It threw him completely off. See what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all, make sure you let me know what y'all think about this whole interview right here. And again, if you listen to it, it's all about the standards being lower. No standards should be lower just to allow a certain demographic or sex of people to get into those spaces. If you're look, when I went, man, y'all notice they look at our grades, they look at our experience, all those. We right now as I'm a director, right? Over $1 billion industry all over the United States. When we hire people in, I don't care about what the person look like and what gender they are. The first thing I start to look at is how long they've been in the field, what skills they bring to it. That's what we do compared to the other ones. Now, we're not just going to hire you in there just because you are black or you are white or you are Indian, you are Asian or anything like that. No, we're going to look at the experience. We're going to look up at there's the back. We're going to look and see if your license ever had any type of disciplinary actions on it and what for. That's what they look at. Wow, man. So anyway, I look, y'all heard what I had to say on this, and I don't want to hear what you guys got to say on this. Leave it in the comments below after this video. If you would, please don't forget to hit that like button right now. 5 seconds, hit the like button, please. Hit it right now so this video can be spread throughout the YouTube algorithm and it can keep being recommended to you. Get into those cell phones, encourage somebody to check this channel out and subscribe to this channel, all right? Woo, this is a lot, folks. Am I going to do a part on the whole woke thingy? I don't know yet. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section if y'all want me to go and do a video on that segment as well. I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, and I hope and pray every last one of you guys have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, I pray every last one of you guys are in great health mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.